Arsenal, holders of the Littlewoods Cup, on the verge of reaching Wembley again. But can they overcome those durable cup fighters Everton? With the first leg at Goodison Park, the onus is on them to do the scoring. And in recent games, that hasn't been a problem.
So the Stephen for Everton. It's a good-looking cross. Clark was there. It came to Shaw.
In less than a month, Everton have played over 10 hours of exhilarating cup-tie football.
Heath away, he's offside. Now then, Heath. It's there. Everton are 2 goals in front.
Defeat? They don't even know the meaning of the word these days.
He's going in there. Trevor Stephen going in there. And Everton, I don't believe it.
Well, it is fact and not fiction, and there have been about 250,000 witnesses at those 7 ties, not to mention millions more on television. Well, I'm delighted to say our studio guest this afternoon, the England and Manchester United captain Brian Robson. And a very expensive business being an Evertonian these days, Brian, I can tell you, but it's better than losing.
That's right. I mean, Everton are such battlers, and that's why they've been so successful over the last 5 years, because they do battle well for each other, and you know, they've had great results just lately. Even though people have been writing them off saying they're going to be too tired to play in certain games, they've kept going and they've got the just rewards.
And we said there right at the start, the onus really is on them to score today, with it being their home tie of this semi-final. One would have thought Graham Sharp is a key figure for them today. Got to be.
Yeah, well, over the last few years, he's done fantastic for them. I mean, he's scoring great goals. But the thing is, as well, he works really hard, and, you know, he helps them out a tremendous amount, the way that Everton play. Because if the good short football isn't going well, what they do, they hit the longer ball onto Graham Sharp, and he battles well, and he causes a lot of problems for defenders.
We just caught a little glimpse there of Tony Adams watching Graham Sharp, and I think it's fair to say that he's going to have his hands full this afternoon with that guy.
Yeah, it'll be good battle this between the two of them, because he's a good competitor, very good player, and it will be nice to see how them two play against each other today.
Brian, thanks a lot. We'll talk again at half-time, of course, but for now, let's join our commentary team this afternoon. It's Ian St John and Brian Moore.
Thanks a lot, Elton. Let's check on the two teams then. First, it's Everton with Neville Southall in goal. We should be seeing there he is, yes, the back four with Dave Watson, who scored the opening goal at Middlesbrough on Wednesday, in the central position alongside Pat van den Hauwe. The best news for Evertonians today, Peter Reid has come through a test on a knee injury, and he's included in an unchanged midfield. Indeed, Everton also unchanged up front, where Adrian Heath and Graham Sharp will be looking for the goals. Arsenal, though, they have had to make changes, but not in goal, where John Lukic is their man. Neither are there changes in the back four, where Nigel Winterburn continues at right back. But in the midfield, Steve Williams is out with a knee injury. Graham Rix is left out. Paul Davis is not yet fit to return to the first team. Michael Thomas and Martin Hayes come into this area. And then up front, Perry Groves, and alongside him, Alan Smith, who returns after a hamstring injury. They are looking for the goals for Arsenal. The referee today is going to be George Tyson. There are the mascots. Everton's, incidentally, is the daughter of their manager, Colin Harvey, young Emma Harvey, and Arsenal's is Katie Carter. George Tyson, the referee from Sunderland. Semi-final, remember, over 2 legs. What a day for Kevin Richardson, a former Everton player, now with Arsenal, played both in a Milk Cup final for Everton and in the 1984 FA Cup final for Everton against Watford. Got a rapturous welcome, actually, when he arrived here today. But for the next 90 minutes, they are deadly foes on the field. Over 2 legs, remember, the second leg still to come at Highbury. And Arsenal, in a change strip of yellow shirts, black shorts, attack the goal to our right. Everton, of course, in their traditional blue with white shorts. John Lukic. Stephen. So much speculation about how the saga that Everton have had against Sheffield Wednesday, and now a continuing saga against Middlesbrough, how that will affect them mentally and physically. They've had 2 days off since that tremendous game at Ayresome Park on Wednesday night, and did a light bit of training yesterday. Graham Sharp, looking sprightly enough. 20 goals this season. Peter Reid, so important that Everton got him fit. He was such an influential figure when the battle was going against them at Ayresome Park on Wednesday night.
It's very noticeable, Brian, that Kevin Richardson will pick up Peter Reid, and that's going to be an interesting battle, isn't it? You know, two ex-teammates.
Perry Groves was pointed into touch, and indeed George Graham was saying about Kevin Richardson what an exceptional buy he's been, and he'll need to do a good job on Peter Reid. He's probably their best player, he said, in the cup tie at Brighton last week.
Well, he'll certainly do that, but I think Arsenal will miss Steve Williams today, who, you know, is very influential in midfield for them.
Arsenal's preparation quite the reverse to what Everton's. An offside there against Perry Groves. They've had a midweek break in Marbella, where they did a little bit of training and played golf every day. Here's Dave Watson, the only ever present in the Everton side this season. Pointing is up. Sharp is there. Reid. Playing to Harper on the right. Stevens. Groves. Free kick given to Arsenal. Groves was felled after that ball had gone. I think it was accidental. Perry Groves in there again. Martin Hayes. Kenny Sanson. The other semi-finalists, of course, Luton Town and Oxford United. And Everton with another cup tie in the FA Cup, that is, against Middlesbrough here on Tuesday night. Free kick. Adams pushing down on Sharp. 7 of Everton's last 8 matches have been cup ties. Real cut and thrust part of the season for them. So Gary Stevens with the free kick for Everton. Watson's gone up for this one. The little chip in towards Dave Watson. He got his head there to it. Richardson, his feet rather high there, but no punishment. It comes Everton's way. Peter Reid being hustled by Martin Hayes. Michael Thomas finding David Rocastle now for Arsenal. Into Perry Groves. The flag has stayed down. Reid is back there, saving the day for Everton. A real hairline decision there. Perry Groves looking, certainly from this position, to be a couple of feet offside, but the flag stayed down. And Sharp well offside there. Ian St John?
Well, a very good chance for the Arsenal there. I mean, Everton were wide open, and really had Perry Groves controlled the ball in his stride, he was clean through. So, first blood, you could say, to the Arsenal. But it's interesting, as far as Everton are concerned, that Trevor Steven is playing on the left-hand side today, Brian, so he'll be looking after Rocastle, I should think.
Watson winning that quite firmly in the air. Sanson. And the formidable figure of Neville Southall. Sharp, Reid, Groves, Sanson. Heath, who was like a little terrier at him. Two smallest men on the field, both standing 5'6", and there's the tallest one, John Lukic, at 6'4". Arsenal's throw, Rocastle with it. Poynton, Snowden. Sharp, took that nicely on his chest, but it falls for Kevin Richardson. This is Nigel Winterburn. Smith had a training injury, a hamstring, and missed the cup tie at Brighton last week, but now fully fit again. A good break from the midfield, but he's offside by Michael Thomas. As you'd expect a semi-final to be, Ian, a bit fierce and not a lot of shape or pattern, and a bit nervy early on.
Well, that's right, but I must say this about Everton: they're very, very competitive. You know, they work hard to get the ball once they've lost it, and you'll see that in the game today.
Adams winning it well. Brandon Howe winning it well, but here's Martin Hayes. Good stop though by Watson, picked up by Rocastle. And Harper gently back to his keeper. Sharp, just a glancing header, finds Heath with it, in turn to Reed, just over the head of Martin Hayes to find Harper, offside against Sharp.
We might find a lot of that this afternoon because Arsenal push up, as you well know, Brian, but Everton had that against Sheffield Wednesday, and we saw Ian Snowden break from midfield. So I would look for that this afternoon, for Everton to try and break them down that way.
Everton's way, Brandon Howe, Trevor Stephen, swift challenge indeed there by David Rocastle. Snowden, there's that break from midfield, and noticeable that Michael Thomas was with him, and a few feet were flying there. And some obstruction as well, and George Tyson calling both men together. To him just to issue a quiet word of warning, and a free kick given Everton's way. Up goes O'Leary. It's Rocastle. It's a bright start by Arsenal. Thomas now taking it up. Groves has gone inside him, but maybe Thomas has lost his way here for a moment. Everton's throw. It hasn't been the best period of the season for Arsenal. They've won only 3 of their last 11. Mind you, they were all cup games. And the score, with about 8 minutes gone, 0-0 in this Littlewoods Cup semi-final at Goodison Park. Everton, meantime, unbeaten in their last 9 games. It's an old saying, isn't there, Ian, that no matter how many games you play, you never get tired when you're not losing.
Well, that's a fact, and especially good cup runs.
Sharp didn't quite fall for Snowden. Winterburn gets it back.
I must say, you know, I'm very impressed with the attitude of the Arsenal team today. They've come out, and although it's a 2-legged semi-final, a lot of people might have expected them to, you know, play defensively here at Goodison Park, but they're having a go at Everton. They've been very, very positive.
Richardson. 3 hustling around Groves, giving him no chance and no time. Thomas gets it back. Back with John Lukic. Not conceded a goal in the Littlewoods Cup this season. This is their 5th tie. Free kick to Arsenal. Kenny Sanson. Smith will be the one that he aims for. Comes through to Perry Groves. Tremendous goal there there by Arsenal. A lovely flick on in the first place by Alan Smith. And finished off superbly by Perry Groves. Ian St John?
Well, Perry certainly made up for that earlier mistake. That was a cracking goal. And again, as I said, it's a very positive approach by the Arsenal side to this match. They've decided that rather than come and hold on, they've said, we'll have a go at Everton. And there's a ball fell down, woof, left foot volley, and that gave Neville Southall no chance.
Van den Hal. Harper. Harper again. Groves. Well, Watson caught in possession by Smith. Rocastle. Well, the ball bounded nicely for Rocastle now. The cross is beyond Alan Smith.
I think actually he was looking for the far top corner there to try and bend one round, but just got a little bit too much on it.
So the first breakthrough comes for Arsenal. With about 12 minutes gone. Perry Groves, the scorer. Having a good run at the moment, Perry Groves. He scored a decisive goal in the FA Cup at Brighton last week. Certainly took it well and helped in no small measure by the little flick on from Alan Smith. But Everton are nothing if not fighters, as they proved at Middlesbrough in midweek. Gary Stevens playing that one forward. Peter Reid. Stevens. Good break here by Snowden. And Tony Adams, as we get the first corner of the game. Peter Reid, stopped that time by Martin Hayes. As the rain comes sweeping down, it looks as though there might even be a bit of sleet in it as well. It's a really wintry afternoon, and at the moment a wintry prospect for Everton. Adams up. Trevor Stephen! So let's look again at that Arsenal goal from the different angle on the far side of the ground. Crossed in there by Kenny Sansom, the little flick on by Smith, and Perry Groves unerringly into the corner of the Everton net. Smith to Rocastle. Reid. Everton's throw. Neil Poynton with it. Rocastle. Smith trying to make something of this, but Van den Hal got there first. Back with Neville Southall. Up goes Sharp. Here's Kenny Sansom. Richardson making a good break from midfield. And Perry Groves going in as well, but there's Gary Stevens back to his keeper. Sansom played it through there for Trevor Stephen. Here's Neil Poynton. Reid right in there. Snowden. Stevens, delightful ball played now for Harper. A good cross coming in and Lukic down for it, but Everton opening up Arsenal well down that flank. Real high up and under, and Southall's ball. Martin Hayes. We've got the better of Stevens. Harper. Offside against Heath. Evertonians unhappy with that decision, but it looked just about the right one, I must say. O'Leary with the free kick. Hayes on the far side. And the cross coming in. Alan Smith is in there, winning it in the air. You can just see what sort of weather conditions we've got here on Merseyside right now. Kevin Richardson, no, the whistle had gone. It's a free kick for the foul by Tony Adams on Graham Sharp. Another free kick to Everton. 17 minutes gone if you just joined us in the Littlewoods Cup semi-final. And Arsenal leading with Perry Groves' goal scored after 10 minutes. In the meantime, it's Gary Stevens with the free kick. Towards Sharp, hanging in the air there, but it didn't come through to him. Richardson gets it away. Only Perry Groves is up for Arsenal. Snowden, stopped by Adams. Rhodes again. Gary Stevens with the throw. Adams. Stevens. Reed. Lost out there. Adams. Good jump by Vanden Hauwe. And an Arsenal throw. Sanson with the throw. Again, that flick on by Smith, back to Neville Southall. I think Arsenal fans here will be delighted with the way this has gone so far. On the left, I think there, the lady with the long hair was Miss Koo Stark, who I gather is an Arsenal fan, so maybe she's delighted too. Adams away. Oh, no, it's no panic. Tony Adams is back there for Arsenal. And another Arsenal throw. I think they might need a little bit of pulling round at the moment, Everton, with the likes of Peter Reid to do it, Ian. With all these games, mentally and physically, probably a little tired, and now finding themselves this goal down.
Well, you could be right there, Brian, yes.
Oh, Gary Stevens. Harper. Stevens again for Everton. Tried to play it in for Adrian Heath. Might come his way. Will Harper get there first? Tony Adams is there. And now Sanson. Richardson, no, he lost control there, and here come Everton in force. It's with Adrian Heath, and now with Peter Reid on the far side. The flag is up for an offside.
You know, I think if I was an Everton fan, I'd be a bit worried about the formation today, because they've not attacked at all down the left-hand side of the field here, Brian, right underneath us. I think we've only seen one ball coming in from the left. All the play has been over on the right-hand side, and I think Trevor Steven, feels out of place over here on the left, because he keeps wandering into the centre circle, and Everton get no width in their attacks.
There is Trevor Steven. He played for a spell over on the left at Middlesbrough on Wednesday night, but as everybody knows, that's his most effective position, away on the right. Well, Peter Reid won that ball. Sheer determination, he got the better of Kevin Richardson then, and here's Trevor Steven. Cutting in from Rocastle, playing it forward to Reid, getting it back from Reid, controlling it well, and it'll come through for Gary Stevens now. Everton putting a bit of pressure on as they get to Harper. Now for Stevens. Snowden. Delightful ball, but Hayes read it well for Arsenal. The rain and sleet will probably improve the quality of this game still further. It'll just give the pitch that little bit of a gloss, and the ball will move that much more easily. Tony Adams. Still only 21, Tony Adams, and there's been a bit of criticism of him lately, Ian. He's not had his best form over the last month or two, but I tell you what, he's looking fairly secure there at the moment.
Well, I think you could say about quite a few of the young Arsenal team, they seem to go off the boil in the last couple of months, but I mean, that's acceptable in football. We know that will happen, and they've maybe had a little down, beginning to get it back again. And I mean, on today's form, I mean, they're a different team, aren't they? I mean, they're all bubbling, they're all playing well.
And they've got the impetus now of this early goal. If you just joined us, scored after 10 minutes by Perry Groves. Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. In goes Thomas, wins it from Reid, finds Alan Smith. Perry Groves staying just onside, but come through to Southall. Watson. Well, that was a foul by Sharp on Adams, a free kick to Arsenal. Winterburn. From one goalkeeper to the other. Richardson. Point and back. It's Michael Thomas. Stevens with the throw for Everton. Stevens to Reed. Poynton. Stevens. Sharp. Battling there with Thomas. It comes to Peter Reed again. A nice little chip by him this time for Harper. Reed once more. He hits that one straight to Richardson. On to Michael Thomas. And it'll be an Everton throw.
Well, Arsenal have hustled Everton out of it in midfield, not allowed Peter Reid and these other Everton midfield players to settle at all, and I think that has been the crux of the game so far, that, you know, the Arsenal boys have managed to stop Everton building anything.
There's Richardson in first again, but an offside flag. Certainly an unaccustomed situation for Everton fans here to see their side behind. They've lost only once here this season, and that was to Coventry City way back in September. But here's Snowden into Harper. Ball played in early, but not with enough accuracy. It comes to David Rocastle. Sanson hitting it straight to Reed. Harper, the little flick for Peter Reed again. And a corner again for Everton. Forward comes Dave Watson. Sharp at the near post. So Watson up. And easy for Smith to get away. Harper battling well and eventually winning it too, finding Peter Reed. Stevens. Cross in by him. And it's in there. No, it's just wide. Well, that was touch and go for Arsenal as Heath went diving in there on that one. And we'll see how close it was. Another Everton corner. Arsenal under pressure, but not from that sort of corner. That's not the first one that Harper has played in gently towards the near post, but not with nearly enough height on it to get the flick on that would have been required. And that'll be a goal kick. It's certainly been a tremendous cup saga for Everton this season, as Nigel Winterburn gets a little bit of treatment. Although, you see, back in 83-84, they played 19 games. They got to both finals there. They lost, if memory serves me, to Liverpool in the Littlewoods Cup final on a replay. And they beat Watford in the FA Cup final. So they've still got some way to go. Nigel Winterburn, certainly the Wimbledon fans will remember him much more as a left back, but Arsenal at the moment playing him on the right-hand side. Had a little spell with Birmingham City and with Oxford United before he came down to Wimbledon, a Midlands lad. He's okay now, and a goal kick for Arsenal. Watson winning that in the air. Took quite a knock in the face, it seemed to me, from Alan Smith as he jumped for that one. Here's Poynton. Arsenal throw. Half an hour gone. And still Arsenal leading by a 0-0, scored by Perry Groves after 10 minutes. Heath. Winterburn with the throw for Arsenal. Stephen. Heath. Reed. Comes Richardson again. Sanson. Well, Richardson has kept the pace going, and look, he's so close there to Peter Reid, and really the whole attitude in that midfield is stemming at the moment from Kevin Richardson. And now Perry Groves trying to get in there, and he would have claimed that he was held off by Pat van den Hauwe. Poynton gets it back. Everton fans getting a little aggravated around me, wanting to see a little more aggressive and adventurous form from their side. Talking to some of them today, they were a little critical of the way that Everton were so negative in the last 20 minutes at Middlesbrough in normal time, passing back, and they felt that if they'd been a little bit more positive, then extra time may not have been needed. Well, here's Gary Stevens. Behind he goes. Lukic. Smith versus Watson. Over the heads of both of them. Gary Stevens. No, it falls for Groves again. Well stopped that time by Southall, and Groves couldn't finish it off at the second attempt, but he was in there again, and it needed an exceptional piece of goalkeeping there by Neville Southall to stop him in the first place. Ian St John.
Well, Everton are having trouble just with a long ball played up the middle, and again it was a flick on. And as you can see here, Perry Groves again on his left foot. Had a good shot, a good block there by Neville Southall, and I'm not sure if it was Martin Hayes who possibly put that one over.
So Everton at the moment just cannot get into their stride. Still this goal down as Arsenal in the yellow shirts, caught offside, Perry Groves that time. And certainly it's been an exceptional game so far for young Perry Groves, 22 years old, scoring Arsenal's opening goal. Heath to Sharp, Snowden to Reid. And Poynton always struggling under pressure from Rocastle to get to that one, but he made it in the end. Here's Ian Snowden. Sharp, 20 goals to his credit this season, and Everton could do with another one from him now, but stopped well by Kenny Sanson. And back a long way to John Lukic. 11 minutes to half-time. Groves forcing the throw for Arsenal. Sanson. Adams. A touch on by Hayes. That time Alan Smith in the middle was on offside. Arsenal won here in the league last season when Steve Williams, who's out of the side today with a knee injury, scored. But Everton replied with a goal at Highbury that gave them a 1-0 victory. If I remember rightly, it was Wayne Clark's first goal for Everton. O'Leary away. Wayne Clark, one of the substitutes today, of course. Snowden. Couldn't quite, yes, he did find Harper, and Harper got past Sanson, and he's got past Martin Hayes as well, but now can he get across it? He's got some support behind from Gary Stevens, who in turn has got support from Peter Reid. Trevor Stephen on that far side, but could make no impression on that occasion, and Arsenal get it away towards Perry Groves. Watson. Reid. And another corner for Everton. It's their fourth, and Arsenal have yet to get one. Again, Watson forward. And Poynton's taking this one, where Harper's been floating them in not very effectively towards the near post. Poynton might well, with the left foot, try an in-swinger for the likes of Watson to try and reach. Well, that was even worse than some of the others. Stevens. Van den Hauwe. Everybody except Southall now in the Arsenal half of the field as Everton try to retrieve this situation. A goal down. Van den Hauwe. Adams got it away. Van den Hauwe again. Snowden. Towards Sharp. And O'Leary penalised for climbing over Sharp right on the edge of the penalty area. Now this might be a very, very interesting situation. There was a howl from the crowd and the referee responded by pointing to a spot about a yard outside the penalty area, and at this moment is giving David O'Leary a few words about dissent. Of course, these are the days here when they would have liked to have had Kevin Sheedy, who was almost fit for this game, in this sort of situation with a free kick.
That's right, but I mean, there's one or two there that who can bang a ball. Trevor Stevens there, Ian Snowden can hit them as well.
Getting the wall back, Lukic lining it up. A really crucial moment this, with about 8 minutes to go to half-time. Now, can Everton find a way through this wall? Trevor Steven is standing behind the ball. It might be a little touch from Peter Reid. It looks as though it might be Adams' responsibility to attack the ball. A lot of conversation going on there a moment around that situation, and Mr. Tyson not happy that the wall is back 10 yards now that he is. Trevor Steven, and it cannons off the wall. Harper returns it and skims the crossbar with it. Well, that was so close there for Everton. Came out and the ball just clipping the crossbar there, and Arsenal escape and still hold this 1-goal lead. Trevor Steven again. Arsenal hustling and winning the ball, and it's Winterburn with a shot. Oh, superb save by Southall. So a great slice of luck for Arsenal at one end and a superlative piece of goalkeeping by Neville Southall at the other.
And Nigel Winterburn getting on his favourite left foot, Brian, and a big gap opened up for him. When you look at that, right through the middle and bang. What a very good save by Southall.
Terrific readjustment actually there by Southall, going one way. The ball was obviously moving a little bit. So it remains at 1-0. Thomas and Richardson shots away over the top. But what a save by Southall. Just completed just over 200 league games for Everton. There's a note in the programme. He's got some way to go, Ian, to beat the great legendary Ted Sager here.
That's right.
Who played about 463 league games for Everton. And somebody worked out he's got to play another 7 seasons, Neville, I think, to get to the great Ted's record. Gordon West played a few here as well. I think he was about 330 odd. Poynton playing it in. That'll come for Lukic. A great save by Southall, though. I think we can look at it again.
I think you were right enough about the ball moving in the air, Brian, because Neville looked to me as if he was going to his right there, and then
suddenly had to change direction there.
Right.
Look, stuck out that great paw.
I mean, that was a world-class save.
Five minutes to the interval, and Arsenal still leading by a goal to nil. You get the feeling this is going to be tight right to the very end here today, don't you?
Well, I'm very impressed with this Arsenal side. I must say, young Thomas in midfield is having a great game as well, and that's where they've pinned Everton down.
An elbow, if anything, it looked to me an elbow by Adrian Heath. The referee played an advantage when everybody stopped. Trevor Steven. Rocastle's after him. Stephen keeping possession and then lost it in the end. But there was a foul by Rocastle giving Everton the free kick. Poynton behind it, Snowden behind it. Snowden with the free kick, floated in there. Well, Lukic used his fist to good effect. Michael Thomas now for Arsenal. Groves to Thomas, been playing at full-back, but I think he opened up first off as a midfield player. Martin Hayes stopped by Peter Reid at the expense of another corner.
Well, that's twice today that Peter Reid has made interventions on the edge of his own box, and you know, I think Everton fans would like to see his contribution at the other end, but he's doing a tremendous job for Everton.
Richardson with the corner. He's on the line. There are 4 or 5 Arsenal players there lurking on the edge of the box. Perry Groves. It might go anywhere in the end. It's Southall who dives on the ball as Smith came in. Sharp. Offside flag against Perry Groves. 3 minutes to the interval. Poynton. Up goes David O'Leary. Rocastle in for Thomas. Certainly a big, strong and powerful young player, Michael Thomas. Only 20, you know, Ian.
Oh yeah, he's a super player. I mean, he's had an excellent game this afternoon. I must say there were ironic cheers before when Everton had an attack down the left-hand side. It was the first of this half, and I think they've got to do something in the second half. I'm sure we'll come out and see Everton playing a different formation.
Well, it's not going to be easy for our guest today, Brian Robson, to pick the man of the match. There is, let me tell you, a Rose Bowl and £1,000 donated by Littlewoods for the charity of the club's choice for the man of the match. Everton have chosen the Merseyside Children's Holiday Foundation, and Arsenal the Paul O'Gorman Leukemia Research Fund. This great old game of ours takes a few knocks, but there is another side to it as well, as you can see. But who, I wonder, will be man of the match? Coming towards Perry Groves. But I thought Perry Groves might well be a leading candidate for man of the match. Scorer of the only goal so far. Winterburn with the throw. Might come for Kevin Richardson. Very nearly did. Thomas won a good ball in the air. Smith and Adams rather got up there and headed that one out. Stevens brings it away now to Sharp. To Gary Stevens on the far side. Harper's outside him. Arsenal now with plenty back. Harper. Snowden. Stevens, a good break. A delightful ball again by Ian Snowden. Played in there by the full-back. And as well for Arsenal that Sansom was there, because just behind him was Adrian Heath poised at that near post.
Peter Reid's drawn the short straw now to see who takes this corner kick round. No, he's not, he's left it.
I think he just wanted to keep the momentum going, Peter Reid. He's a great little character. That was Alan Smith's header, not a lot of distance on it. Harper, now Richardson with a chance to get it away for Arsenal. We're now playing time added on for any stoppages, and I can't recall any in the first half. Just one, yes, there was one. Nigel Winterburn, wasn't it? Half-time whistle. So far, so good for Arsenal, leading by a goal to nil, with Perry Groves, number 10, the scorer, with that flick on from Alan Smith after 10 minutes of the game. Well, we should be getting the views in a moment of Brian Robson with Elton Wilsby. We now take a break with the half-time score in this Littlewoods Cup semi-final first leg at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, things certainly not going to plan as far as Everton are concerned this afternoon, with Arsenal leading by 1-0. Tiredness in the Everton camp, Brian, do you think that's got anything to do with it, or do we put all the credit on Arsenal?
I think you've got to give a lot of credit to Arsenal, the way they've come out and played. I think George Graham's definitely made the right decision in playing Groves up front, because I think it's give Arsenal that little bit more mobility up there. And instead of the way they get caught up in the game, and they started using the long ball all the time with Niall Quinn and Alan Smith up there, now they're starting to play some nice, attractive football. And I definitely think it's helped them today. Plus the four lads in midfield as well, I think, have worked very hard, and they've helped the Arsenal back four, and they've supported the front players as well.
So it was a very penetrative move, wasn't it, which led to the first goal, and what could be such a vital goal, you know, over two legs in this tie.
Well, that's right. I mean, it is a long ball through the middle, but what you've got, instead of Niall Quinn and Alan Smith going for the ball, you've got Groves, who's looking sharp in there, you know, and he's spun on it great after his first touch.
Really was a
really good goal,
finish, wasn't it? But Everton seem to be struggling with the long ball down the middle, and Perry Groves almost capitalised again on that deficiency in the Everton rear guard, Brian, didn't they?
That's right. It's unusual for Everton as well, because usually they're quite solid, but they do push up square, Everton, to look for offside. And today, when they haven't been winning the first ball, there's been a bit of danger there. You know, and Groves has got through again with his pace. He's done well, Groves, though. He's always been looking to run through the Everton defence.
Do you think Hayes might have done better with the...
He might have done better, but it's one of those where it comes back quickly at you, and, you know, it's a snapshot, and he was unfortunate to put it over the bar.
Everton have played a lot of matches, and I suppose it's a ready-made excuse for them, but there doesn't seem to be the cohesion that we've seen in recent weeks in their play. Have you spotted one maybe fundamental reason why that is?
I think in the game, Everton, they're always putting teams under pressure, and they never give you a minute's peace on the ball. But today, I think Arsenal have turned that, and they're putting Everton under a lot of pressure, and they're not getting the space to play in.
So I think few good balls in. I mean, I don't know whether it's Trevor Steven maybe a little bit out of position on the left-hand side, which Saint said. But here's the ball that you felt.
Yeah, that's a great ball in. That's probably the only good ball that Everton have put in. I'd maybe like to see Trevor Stevens moved over onto the right and let Harper come over onto the left. You know, because I think Trevor can maybe get in behind Kenny Sanson and put a few crosses in with his right foot, where at the moment he's playing on the left and he keeps cutting back in on his right foot all the time. He's just playing little balls into Peter Reid or back into the middle of the park.
I'll tell you what, we have got time to see, Brian, that wonderful bit of football near the end, which really brought everyone to their feet here at Goodison. That marvellous save.
It's a swerving shot, and Neville Southall proves that, you know, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Tremendous save.
So, I mean, at the stage it is now, how do you see the second half progressing?
Well, I think if Arsenal keep working hard in midfield, helping the defence out defensively, I don't think they'll give much away. Tony Adams is having a smashing game at the back as well. Whenever they have got through the midfield players of Arsenal, Tony Adams has swept everything up there, and he's looking really solid.
So obviously one of the contenders for man of the match, but we'll get to that at the end, Brian. It's an interesting award today, as Brian Moore was saying in the commentary, with £1,000 going to charity, nominated by whoever wins the man of the match. Half-time then here at Goodison Park is Everton 0, Arsenal 1. We'll be back. Crowd of about 30,000 here at Goodison Park this afternoon. 5 or 6 have come up from London, including one of Arsenal's great fans, that well-known actress, Koo Stark. Martin Tyler gets all the good jobs. I get Brian Robson, he gets Koo. Martin.
Thanks, Elton. Yes. Koo, what led you to become an Arsenal fan?
Well, Mrs. Dean, really. I went to see the football game with her originally.
David Dean, the Arsenal director.
That's right, his wife. It's a long-standing friend.
You haven't grown up with football, but what is it about the game that attracts you to it? As the players go by.
Oh, it's an exciting game to watch. It's full of life. If I don't get back to my seat soon, I'll miss it.
What are you doing in the work line at the moment? I believe you're starting in a new play. Tell us about that.
It's And Then There Were None, Agatha Christie.
Right. Well, we wish you all the very best with that, and we better get you back to your seat. Thanks, Koo, very much indeed. Back to Brian Moore.
So Everton back onto the field then for the start of this second half. As we saw Arsenal coming down that long tunnel. And Peter Reid need to whip some cup tie saving form into his Everton teammates. You were saying at half-time, Ian, that you feel that Everton are missing the influence also of Kevin Ratcliffe, who's still injured, of course, at the centre of their defence.
Well, that's right. You know, Brian Robson was making a point there at half-time, and I think it's quite evident today. There's been quite a few balls that have gone through the middle there, and it's not like Everton to be open like that.
Well, Arsenal also have a substitute on. Niall Quinn is on, and it looks to me, as I look round quickly, that Alan Smith has gone. So Niall Quinn is on. Scored a couple of times, just had a little run while Alan Smith has been injured. And maybe it's a reoccurrence of Alan Smith's hamstring, which kept him out of the cup tie last week. But he should still combine fairly well. The point that Brian Robson was making at half-time, he should combine very well with Perry Groves.
Well, it's 1 for 1, you know, one big fella for another. In fact, an even bigger one. And I know Big Niall, he's not the best footballer in the world, but I tell you, anything in the box at all, you know, with his height, he can cause you a lot of problems.
Stevens with the throw to Harper. So Niall Quinn, who lost his place quite recently, a 6'4" giant of a man. He's going to be a man who poses all sorts of threats to Everton, anything that comes high into that box. Republic of Ireland lad. A shove in the back by Sansom on Sharp. A free kick for Everton in a potentially dangerous position here. To be taken by Gary Stevens. Dave Watson's gone forward. Graham Sharp will also be a target for Gary Stevens as he floats that towards the near post and quite comfortably into the arms of John Lukic. There's Quinn with the header. Now Michael Thomas. Foul that time by Thomas on Snowden. But a free kick to Everton. And Van den Hauwe with it. Floated towards Sharp. And again through, I think it probably came off David O'Leary's head, through to Lukic.
I think George Graham's come down to the box for the second half, Brian. I wonder if he's wearing his lucky red scarf. Remember he was saying in the programme yesterday that this scarf hasn't let him down yet.
It's a throw for Arsenal. No, it's a free kick quickly taken there by Winterburn. And Poynton cuts it out for Everton. In quickly was David O'Leary, back with Neville Southall. Yes, there he is, getting quite agitated, but with that lucky red scarf. And if you think he's superstitious, let me tell you about Colin Harvey. The substitutes here wear 12 and 14. Nobody wears number 13, but it doesn't worry Colin Harvey. He wears the number 13 shirt on match days. Quinn. The flag stays down. Martin Hayes on his way with Perry Groves in the middle as well. Played across the field there towards Perry Groves. And Poynton doing a very good saving job indeed for Everton. Good break by Arsenal. With Martin Hayes and Perry Groves, the men at the front of it all. Adams with the header. That time Quinn is caught offside. And Colin Harvey on the right of the Everton bench there. Two substitutes on the left, Paul Bracewell, and on the extreme left, Wayne Clark. Well, it's Stevens, and he hits the crossbar. Whether Arsenal, just for a moment, were looking and waiting and wondering if a free kick was to be awarded against them. Certainly Gary Stevens wasn't in any way waiting and wondering.
I actually thought the goalkeeper got a touch on it, Brian. Possibly we can see here.
Let's have a look. Difficult angle, and
yes, it looked to me as if he just got a fingertip to it.
goal kick given. So it's twice Everton have hit the bar in the first half. It was Gary Stevens then. Although I credit it to Harper, I think it was Stevens, and that was certainly Gary Stevens. Here's Reid. Being hustled again there by Quinn and by Michael Thomas. And the temperature now rising all the time in this cup tie. Rocastle. Poynton towards Trevor Stephen. Again operating down that left flank. Rocastle's right back there with him. O'Leary. Rocastle, a dangerous game to be playing there, but they got away with it. But there's Poynton playing it in once more. This should be Lukic's, and it is. Everton fans now really beginning to get behind their side. Up goes Lukic, as you can hear. Arsenal's throw, and Perry Groves with it. Back to Nigel Winterburn. Everton's throw, Neil Poynton. Trevor Stephen. Snowden. Now Gary Stevens cutting inside Martin Hayes through the legs of the referee to Peter Reid. Stephen again operating down that left flank. Getting it to Harper. Harper's shot saved by Lukic. Impression there's a more positive outlook from Everton at the early part of the second half, Ian.
Well, they've stepped up a gear since half-time, and it's a super game as it happens, and a good effort again there by Harper, but a good save by Lukic.
Sharp. Again, nicely closed down by Tony Adams. Everton's throw, Gary Stevens with it. In goes Adams first again, but here's Gary Stevens for Everton, and now Peter Reid. Snowden. Stevens trying to get Sharp away. Again, Adams was there first. Sanson towards Big Niall Quinn. The throw given Everton's way. Stevens will take it. Mighty clearance by Adams. Poynton. And now O'Leary. A lot of pressure coming in from Everton now. Heath. Trevor Stephen. And now Poynton. Here's Reid taking up the running. And a tackle by Thomas. And the corner given. Thomas thought otherwise. In fact, it's not a corner, it's going to be a free kick awarded by the referee. Everton were quite happy to take a corner there. Now let's see what happens. Poynton with the left foot. Watson is up there again. Sharp is in there too. It's Stephen, in fact, who knocks it in. And Adams, who got up well. There's Snowden in there too. O'Leary up also. It comes to Harper. Crashed against the Arsenal player. It's Heath, and then the flag is up for Stephen offside on the far side. As Everton fans in that stand on the far side get to their feet in protest, it'll make no difference.
Well, you feel if Everton can score with this pressure at the moment, Brian, they could go on to win the game, but they badly need the goal now, I think, because if the young Arsenal team got over this next 10 minutes or so, then they can settle again and get back into the rhythm.
9 minutes of the second half gone. Arsenal still leading by 1-0. Scored by Perry Groves, 10 minutes of the first half. Harper. Adams. Taking no chances. It's a tigerish look about Everton at the start of this second half now. It's they who are really doing the hustling, and Arsenal who are being forced back all the time. For the likes of young Tony Adams, we saw there a moment ago, Perry Groves, Martin Hayes. In goes Adams again, very decisive. And somebody sitting in the stand will be pleased that in the centre of the picture there, England manager Bobby Robson, pleased to see the decisive form this afternoon being shown by Tony Adams.
He's been very positive today, Adams, and when he was going through that little down period, he was very hesitant, Brian, which is natural. You know, when you're not playing well, you can play like that. But now, today, he's going for everything. He's being first, and he's looking a very good player again.
Harper heading it on to Heath, to Stephen. They claim a handball, but it was ball hitting hand. I think it certainly hit the hand of David O'Leary, but it was purely accidental. It was ball hitting hand. And referee George Tyson, in spite of the howls, have a look at this again, Ian.
Well, it's always difficult. Do you give a penalty kick here? I mean, he's a yard away from it. He just banged it against his arm. I mean, really and truly, you know, I don't think the defender can get out of the way.
In the meantime, Rocastle crossing it in. Perry Groves couldn't get the header in. Michael Thomas with the shot, but the flag is up on this side for an offside against Niall Quinn. Everton's free kick. Well, is it going to be a triumphant return to Goodison for Kevin Richardson? Arsenal leading by 1-0, but a lot of work to be done. Is that a foul by O'Leary on little Adrian Heath? Shoved him against the billboards there, and Heath looking as though he might be in need of a bit of treatment there. But it's not too serious.
Well, see, that happens a lot, you know. Defenders go for the ball and they want to let it run for a dead ball, and they try to, you know, block the forward coming in, and I think that was a foul there, because he not only did he block him, he pushed him right into the boards.
Well, the free kick's been given, and David O'Leary is going to be booked.
I think he's been booked for protesting about it, not the actual foul.
Yellow card. So Everton's free kick. Trevor Stephen playing it in. And another corner. These are certainly moments to test the nerve of this Arsenal defence. Vanden Hauwe at the near post. Sharp at the near post. Here's the cross coming in. It's a poor one. Just when they needed to keep that pressure on Arsenal. Peter Reid. Everton's throw. Reid quickly taking it, wants to keep this momentum going. Trevor Stephen on the far side, and another Everton throw. Poynton. Sharp's back heel, cleared by O'Leary. Poynton with the throw, getting back. To throw a long one into that Arsenal penalty area. Quinn had gone back there, taking his 6'4" frame to help out. Only Perry Groves is up. Here's Snowden. Harper. Good ball there, through to Peter Reid. And Adams tidying up back to Lukic. Going back to their corners, their Everton corners have been quite dreadful this afternoon, haven't they?
Well, if they look back in the game, they will, think that they've squandered so many opportunities today just with poor corner kicks.
Martin Hayes for Arsenal in the yellow shirts, leading by a goal to 0. Peter Reid. And now Heath. Cut out by O'Leary. Stevens to Reid. Snowden challenged, and unfairly, that looked a good challenge actually, and Snowden then, well, I must say I can't quite understand this booking here.
I thought that was an excellent tackle, and I think the boys justified being annoyed about it, but the referee should just say, okay, Paul, let's get the game going.
But the yellow card for Michael Thomas. And a free kick for Everton. Harper's little touch. Richardson away. Reid. And again, Peter Reid, just a yard to move in for a moment there, and he made good use of it. He found Sharp, and Sharp very nearly got it through again for Reid, who made an excellent run.
Well, it's a good job that Niall Quinn's got a left foot that stretches about 12 yards. That was a timely intervention.
Here we go again, look. Reid's touch. Gets there again.
And there was big Niall with the left foot. Whoa, Reid was through.
Now here's Quinn at the other end. It should go all the way through to Lukic, and indeed it does. Poynton. Everton surging forward again, finding Adrian Heath. A little flick on that almost got through to Sharp. And Harper was chasing in on Lukic. Not a good clearance that time by Lukic. Harper to Sharp. Reid is right in there again. Adams sticking out the long leg. And that would have been a problem solely of Arsenal's making, with a poor clearance coming out from John Lukic. O'Leary gets it back. Sanson. Rocastle on the far side as he got the legs of Poynton. He's certainly got some support from Thomas. And behind him from Winterburn. Doesn't need it though. The cross comes in and Quinn's right in there. And Southall gets it at the second attempt.
What a delightful ball from David Rocastle, wasn't it? Whipped it into the back post there. He will see it coming in, and big Niall came in at the back post and, ooh, just almost got the touch. But you see it, Everton have had 15 minutes of pressure in this opening half, and then the Arsenal break away and almost score, and that's what you're always open to, the old sucker punch. But they're doing a marvellous job at the moment, the Arsenal, containing Everton.
Vandenhouwe with the free kick for Everton. Up goes Sharp, beaten by Adams. And away comes Hayes. That's not a bad ball there, if Rocastle can get to it. Winterburn was charging in there as well, and Vandenhouwe goes roaring back and gets it back to Neville Southall. Adams climbing over Sharp. A free kick to Everton. Reed is going to mastermind this one. The little chip in towards Heath. I don't think Heath quite got a touch. If he had, Everton might well have been level.
Everton have literally been inches away on about half a dozen occasions in this half line of getting that touch and being cleaned through on the goalkeeper.
Poynton again. Reed. Stephen. It's a delightful ball there to Stevens. Crossed in quickly by him, and again crossed in by him. And Snowden was waiting at the far side, and Sanson it is who gets it away for Arsenal. So dominating this second half, you really begin to feel it's only a matter of time before Everton do get that equaliser. Here's Snowden. Now Gary Stevens. Crosses in there. It was Adams who stayed firm. Harper playing it in. An offside flag is up against Sharp.
You know, we've not had one header from Graham Sharp today, Brian, which is very unusual, which means that the quality of balls, you know, haven't been going into the box, because if they get the service, then this fella can head them.
So on the Everton bench, or rather the Arsenal bench, wondering just how much longer the side can hold on to this one-goal lead. It's Perry Groves who's down. Everton, I notice, Ian warming up. Yes, it's Wayne Clark on the far side there, doing a bit of warming up.
I would think that Colin Harvey must do something. If the score stays at 1-0, going in the sort of next 10 minutes, 15
That's
minutes.
Gus Caesar, sorry, the Gus Caesar, the Arsenal substitute.
But Wayne Clark is just ahead of him, walking down the track.
Well, Perry Groves okay. Arsenal's free kick. So Wayne Clark warming up. Richardson with the free kick for Arsenal. A deep one floated towards Quinn! And whether there was a little shove on Gary Stevens or not, Stevens certainly slipped, and he looked for a moment as though Quinn might be left in the clear. A long free kick. And Quinn just unable to turn it in. Stevens. Reed. That's a good ball by Peter Reed. Heath is there. The flick on is for Poynton, but he hasn't quite got the legs. Winterburn gets it back to Lukic. So 22 minutes of the second half gone. That means we're halfway through the second half. Arsenal still leading 1-0. Perry Groves, the man who headed that one, the scorer. Now Quinn. Richardson waiting in the middle. Reed now can take it up for Everton. Finds Harper. Stevens outside him. It's a good cup tie now. Watson. Snowden to Stevens. Reed. Harper. Gary Stevens. Now the long one should come in towards Graham Sharp. But again, it wasn't a quality cross by a long way. And Martin Hayes can winkle the ball away for Arsenal. Helped by O'Leary. Helped in turn by Richardson, who was challenged by Stevens. Saville right out of his goal. Up goes Adams. There's Snowden. On the far side is Stevens. And Winterburn gets it away to Rocastle. Falls for Reed. For Trevor Stephen. Getting the better of Winterburn there. Still with Trevor Stephen, he might go all the way. And it was deflected off an Arsenal player when a stunning strike seemed on.
Peter Reid has got more room in the second half. I think the Arsenal markers have left him now, and Peter's beginning to get more and more influential for Everton, and which is a mistake for the Arsenal. They've got to try and pin this little man down.
Well, it's Gary Stevens at the moment on the ball, and now it's, as you say, that little man, Peter Reid. Finding Harper. Adams. In goes Reid again, but not unexpectedly beaten in the air by Niall Quinn. Well taken there by Michael Thomas, but not so by David Rocastle, but he's still in possession until Trevor Stephen gets it. Free kick. Already taken. Trevor Stephen on the ball for Everton. Reid outside him. Winterburn read that well for Arsenal. Just over 20 minutes of the game remaining, and Arsenal leading by a goal to nil, and a break through the middle for Michael Thomas. Adams, it might fall for Sharp, nodded down by him to Heath, a back heel there for Harper. Just 20 minutes left now. Groves with a header. And they're about to make a substitution now. Wayne Clark about to come on for Everton. Sharp goes up. Probably be Harper. Sharp with the shot, and it had the sting taken out of it there by Tony Adams. It'll be Alan Harper who comes off, we gather. Indeed it is. There goes the number 11 disc, and Alan Harper goes off. Wayne Clark comes on. Saying his first goal for Everton was at Highbury last season, when, of all things, he lobbed John Lukic from way out. He's wearing the number 12 shirt. Quinn was bearing down on Watson, and Quinn didn't even leave the ground. The foul's given there by the referee. It was right on the spot. Another free kick to Everton. Another potential danger point here for Arsenal. He wants him in the right place. Does Lukic. Poynton floating it, oh, far too deeply. It's real nip and tuck this, Ian. I was talking to a gentleman before the start who left 2 minutes from the end of 90 minutes up at Middlesbrough on Wednesday, missed that dramatic late equaliser by Tony Mowbray, and the whole of that dramatic extra time. I don't think he'll be leaving before the end today.
There's nothing worse when you go in the car, turn on the radio, and you find it's a draw in the extra time.
That's right. Now Richardson. No, an offside flag up against Perry Groves. Just beneath us there, and there was so little in it. It does indicate what a difficult job linesmen have. It's hairline decisions all the time. Vanden Howell with that free kick. I think Niall Quinn was in there again, but it goes off his head for another Everton throw. 17 minutes left. Gary Stevens with a long throw. Watson was right in there, and it's Sharp who snatched at that one and violently off the target.
The tie is so evenly balanced at this stage, Brian, because you think that Everton are going to get the equaliser, then at the other hand, you know, the Arsenal have always looked threatening on the break, and they might go 2-0 up. And so, I mean, it is a smashing cup tie.
So you can see Arsenal leading by a goal to nil, with Perry Groves the scorer, and now a matter of 16 minutes left. Remember, of course, there's a second leg to this tie at Highbury. Free kick to Arsenal. David O'Leary. Unusual for Arsenal to be out of their own half in this second half of the game, but that was hit far too high even for the mighty Quinn, and it is a goal kick. They're playing just as hard a game on that bench as they are on the field, and I'm sure the same can be said on the Everton bench as well. Rocastle playing it in. The flag has stayed down. Southall has come out. And a good pass by Southall. It found Heath and then Sharp, and now Stephen with Poynton going up outside him. Stephen knows that he can do it himself, and it was nodded off the head of Graham Sharp by Kenny Sanson as Arsenal concede another corner.
That was one for the record books, wasn't it? Kenny Sanson beating Sharp in the air. But that was a timely intervention.
Watson's in there. Clark is in there deep. Sharp's at the near post. Quinn was there, again using his height to good effect. Look at that gathering at the near post. Makes it so hard for Lukic, though he stands 6'4". Poynton again crossing it in, and Sharp claiming that although he turned it in, that it came off David O'Leary in behind for the corner, but referee Tyson says no, it's a goal kick to Arsenal. Watson gets it back. Straight through to Lukic. Graham Sharp, who scored 8 in the last 7 games, but he failed to score at Middlesbrough on Wednesday night, and to be fair, rarely looked like scoring. He was very well held by the Middlesbrough defence, and indeed both Adams and O'Leary have done a pretty good job on him this afternoon.
They have, Brian, but at the same time I don't think the quality of ball into the box has really been what was required for them.
Down goes Groves, no foul. Watson brings it away, finds Heath, a touch by him to Sharp. Hayes comes back for Arsenal. Sanson. O'Leary back to Lukic. Still, Perry Groves is down. They're warming Gus Caesar up now. I don't think it's just because Perry Groves has gone down. Do you think they might bring an extra defender, come midfield player on at this stage, Ian, or what?
Well, it's all, you never could tell how George is thinking over there. Today he's come along with his side and attacked Everton, which I thought was the right way to do it, because everybody expected would sit back and try to soak up the pressure and maybe get a nil-niller. But he's come here today, he's played very positive football with them, and it's only Everton's class really and the amount of pressure that they can assert that have brought them back into the game. It's been a great cup tie, and all credit to Arsenal today.
Well, that's how Groves was injured, but he's okay again. We've had a drop ball. It's fallen Everton's way with Heath and now Clark. Harry Stevens. Hayes has gone back there with him. Reed once more for Everton. Thomas. Brandon Howe. Will not be long before Caesar's on. David Rocastle is the man coming off. Gary Stevens for Everton. Reed. Stevens, brave challenge that one, with Thomas and Hayes, I think it was, who was right in there with him. Good challenge by Tony Adams. But Everton throw, 11 minutes remaining. Arsenal leading by a goal to nil in this Littlewoods Cup semi-final first leg. Gary Stevens with a long throw towards Graham Sharp. And a penalty given. That's a very controversial penalty. Tony Adams pushing down on Graham Sharp. And Arsenal, as you can see, are incensed by that decision. But the referee, you can see with that gesture of his, says that Adams... And I must say, that does look as though the referee might have been right, you know.
Well, he's given fouls all day with the defenders getting on top of the forward. And that one there, it was a sandwich in between the two players. And let's have a look at it again here, Brian. And you see, he was the sandwich in between the two, and he did have both of his arms over his shoulders, you know, holding him down. So really, I don't think you should complain about that. That was a penalty.
And Tony Adams, to add insult to the injury, is to be booked. And Trevor Stephen is the man who has the responsibility now of saving Everton in this Littlewoods Cup semi-final. Well, he saved them with the last header of the game at Middlesbrough on Wednesday. Now, Trevor Stephen. Scored twice from the spot this season. He's missed it! What a blow for Everton! And Arsenal, for some reason, were chasing after the referee again. Their fury is unabated that the kick should have been given in the first place, and the silent Everton fans know what a glorious opportunity has been missed, none more so than Trevor Stephen himself.
Well, he's not had the best of games, young Trevor, today. I think he's been very unhappy playing out there on the left-hand side of the field, and who knows, that may have affected his attitude when he left to take the ball.
Meantime, the substitution, David Rocastle goes. And Gus Caesar is on. Very versatile player is Caesar. Defence and midfield. Looks as though he's going to slot straight into a midfield player looking after Adrian Heath there. Up goes Niall Quinn. Arsenal with 8 minutes left. David O'Leary with the free kick towards big Niall Quinn. He goes in there and Southall gathers it as the Arsenal number 10. It wasn't the number 10, it must have been Perry Groves. Yes, the number 10 Perry Groves came in. Groves offside. The flag stays down. Arsenal still defending here from Everton. And another free kick given Everton's way for the foul on Peter Reid. Now, Trevor Stephen behind this one. Can he redeem himself? Chips a little one in there. Dave Watson trying to get on the end of it. Ian Snowden's there. Peter Reid is there. Trevor Stephen again is here on the far side as Everton continue to press Arsenal back. There's his little cross coming in. Gus Caesar got a good header in then for Arsenal, and they get it away into touch. 7 minutes are left. The score remains Everton 0, Arsenal 1. Brandon Howe. Reid. There he goes again. Michael Thomas was after him that time. Brandon Howe. Watson calling for the ball on this side and gets it. Gary Stevens is clear on the right-hand wing here. Inside for Snowden. Push forward there with a challenge by Thomas. There's a fierce one. He's already been booked, Thomas. Free kick to Everton. Cup tie rising to quite a crescendo here. Knocked down, might be anybody's. It's Snowden, and it's wide. Goes Adams, in goes Heath. O'Leary's there first for Arsenal. Well, Peter Reid, great old batter that he is, will know that this semi-final is a long way from being over. Arsenal were down in each of 3 semi-finals they played against Tottenham last season. I think I'm right, they were down in the final as well against Liverpool. They won that as well, so although Everton are down now, it's still a long way from being over. With the second leg still to come at Highbury. Down goes Quinn, a foul on him by Dave Watson, and a free kick to Arsenal. Last 5 minutes of the game now. Sanson. Might be too firm, and it is. It'll be an Everton goal kick, and you saw Neville Southall sprinting out there to get it. He knows better than anybody that time certainly is not on Everton's side at the moment. Now, a long one forward from him. Towards Graham Sharp. It comes for Trevor Stephen. It comes for Wayne Clark. And Stephen was injured after the ball had gone. I don't know whether it was Michael Thomas again, but Thomas in fact calling the trainer on, so it must be fairly serious. I think it may have been Nigel Winterburn's challenge. This is the challenge coming up by Nigel Winterburn. Ian?
That was a, it looked to me like a pretty bad foul. That was it Trevor Stephen who's down, and it was rather late, the tackle, wasn't it?
Well, it's a free kick for Everton. Peter Reid with it. Now, can Everton force an equaliser in the 3 minutes that are left? Reid plays it short for Poynton, whacks one in there. Arsenal get caught up just for a moment. Poynton lifts it back again. The flag on the far side is up for an offside, and it'll be a free kick to Arsenal. Winterburn. Just 2 minutes left now. Kevin Richardson for Arsenal. Watson's header. Up goes Quinn. In goes Van den Hauwen. It might come for Thomas first, but Watson was there right at last for Everton. But it's Arsenal's throw with a little over 90 seconds of the 90 minutes now remaining. Arsenal fans behind Neville Southall's goal in pretty good voice now, getting their celebrations ready behind that Everton goal.
Mind you, with Everton's recent cup results, Brian, this could go to the last kick of the game.
That's right. O'Leary back to Lukic. And Everton will hope that they can get through this last minute without conceding a goal, making 5 ties in the Littlewoods Cup this season without so much as conceding a solitary goal. Thomas on the break for them. Southall spotted that danger quickly. Up goes Caesar with a header for Arsenal. Here's Gary Stevens, one of the last assaults by the men in blue now, as Everton come forging forward again. Reed. Poynton. Richardson's header. It'll go for an Everton throw. Another Everton throw. Time so close to being up now. And that penalty miss by Trevor Stevens, number 7, could prove to be really costly. Crossed in once more towards Heath, but he couldn't get his head to it. Can Peter Reid do something here? Crashing challenge there by Kenny Sanson. Perry Groves on his way, stopped by Vanden Hauwe. Snowden. That'll be the last chance now coming up for Everton. Stevens. Played in for Heath. Played back again for Gary Stevens. In turn now for Neil Poynton. The cross comes in. Gus Caesar was the first to show. Groves. Quinn playing a good professional's ball way down to the other end of the field, which is certainly going to waste a bit of time. George Graham has just spread his arms wide on the bench there, telling them that time is up. But it won't be until the last whistle goes. And what's given there? A goal kick. The final whistle, and the goal by Perry Groves 10 minutes into the first leg of this Littlewoods Cup semi-final has given Arsenal a victory, and the penalty miss close to the end by Trevor Stephen could well cost Everton dear. The holders are the favourites at this moment to go through to Wembley again to meet either Luton or Oxford. But there's still, you fancy, a lot of football left in this semi-final yet. We'll get the views of Brian Robson, we'll find out who the man of the match is, and that's after the break.
Yes, Everton down but not out, with Arsenal hanging on in the second half to that goal after 10 minutes by Perry Groves. Everton just did about everything but score in that second half, Brian.
Yeah, I think second half they come right back into the game, and I think they deserved a draw at least.
Now, what about the man of the match?
Well, I thought Peter Reid come into the game really well in the second half, but I still thought throughout the match Tony Adams didn't give anything away apart from the penalty decision. But I thought Tony was really solid, and he kept Arsenal held together there at the back.
All right then, man of the match, Tony Adams. He'll get a piece of crystal and also a £1,000 cheque for a charity of his choice. Tony Adams, the man of the match then, with Martin Tyler.
Tony, many congratulations. A nice piece of glassware here, courtesy of Littlewood Stores, as man of the match.
Thank you very much.
But it's a bit to do before you get the silverware at Wembley in this competition, but you must be very pleased with the start you've made.
That's right, it's only half-time really, you know, there's still another game to go, but we've done well today, yeah. Good team performance.
I have to ask you about the penalty incident, which upset you greatly.
He's very good at that, Graham, you know, he's a good player, he's very awkward, he backs in, so, you know, I didn't actually foul him of any sort, I didn't think so anyway, but referee gave the pen, so fair enough.
You felt that justice was done?
I did really.
When he was missed, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Never mind.
Just a quick word on the second leg.
We're looking forward to it. Like I said, the job's not done yet. It's a good result, but even last year, you know, Tottenham beat us at Highbury, and then we went and beat them at White Hart Lane. So we're not there yet. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, a rose bowl for you, a cheque for £1,000 to a charity of Arsenal's choice, the Paul O'Gorman Leukemia Research Fund. Good day for Arsenal. Well done, Tony.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yes, well done to Tony Adams. He's a very well-balanced young man, charming bloke. Now, one blemish on his performance was the penalty, according to the referee anyway. What's the Brian Robson view?
Well, it's like Tony says there, Graham Sharp's one of the best in the business at coming back into you and that, but I do think Tony got his right arm hooked around Graham's neck, and I think it could have been a penalty there.
Now, what about, so justice was done, I suppose, if you're one of those who believe it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, Trevor's leaned back as he's took it, and it's annoying when you send the keeper the wrong way and you put it over the bar.
Brian, thanks very much indeed for being with us this afternoon.
Been a
Just
pleasure.
time for me to tell you that you're a boxing fan, by the way.
Yes, I do like my boxing.
Right, 10:30 exclusively on ITV tonight for the IBF World Middleweight Championship. Tony Sibson against Frank Tate, possibly Sibbo's last chance of winning a world title. And of course the big match live next Sunday in the second division. It's Middlesbrough against Aston Villa. But from Goodison Park, with a scoreline of Everton 0, Arsenal 1, from all of us here we say bye-bye to you. Bye-bye.